Well, I haven't plugged
There's
in the
already.
And not equal the make
Mine
automatic.
did that and it stopped,
Okay.
and then what I had to
But
do is
yeah,
I
y'all
shut
on
it off,
side days
closed it,
at Lakeside
and
and
then
all the city
rebooted it back up, and then it came.
I know,
Lakeside.
she really is.
Oh, I know.
It's
Say,
a
I'm
good fit.
almost,
Mm-hmm.
I just get the little gray thing.
Yeah.
Well, I got 6 o'clock. We ready to go?
I
Yep.
got 6. Turn this off.
Okay, let's call to order the February 6th meeting of the Collegedale City Commission. We're glad that all of you are here. We've got quite a few items on the agenda to discuss, but before we get started into our meeting tonight, I've asked Commissioner Sadler to lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
If we could all please acknowledge a moment of silence. And if you'll stand with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Present.
Commissioner Land. Here. Commissioner Sadler,
present.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Lloyd.
Present. So we've had the opportunity to look over the January 17th commission meeting minutes. Are there any questions, any modifications that need to be made?
I actually had a resident approach me. Mr. Beckham pointed out in the header for the Thomson Reuters, it's just a misspelling. In the item itself, it's correct, but it's just the heading where it says Thomas instead of Thompson. So I didn't catch it myself either the first time. It's 1449, and it says approval of contract. It says Thomas Reuters instead of just Thompson. I think it was just something that spell check may even change to.
It's on the second,
Yes.
second page or page.
Okay.
Okay, any other changes, modifications? Okay, do we have a motion for those minutes to be approved, pending the modification?
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yay.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next, we have our January 23rd Commission Workshop minutes. We've all had a chance to take a look at those, I believe. Any changes, modifications that anyone sees in those minutes?
Move to approve.
Okay, second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yay.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next, we reserve a period of comments from our citizens. If there are any citizens here that would like to step up to the microphone for public comment, we welcome that. If you do, please give us your name and your address. Any citizens like to address the commission? Okay, if there are none, we will move on to unfinished business, which there was none. New business, the purchase approval of parks and recreations for a van.
So this is a request for approval for $32,946 to buy a Transit Connect cargo van to be used by Parks and Rec as a fleet vehicle.
Okay,
What
Is
was
it in
that
the budget?
amount? What was that amount?
$32,946.
46, okay.
Is it budgeted amount?
We budgeted $25,000 plus the sale of the box truck, which sold for a little over 11,000. So we're under budget.
So the box
So it
truck
isn't-
is gone.
Yes.
So they do need the van.
state contract. What year is the van?
It'll be at 23.
23. Oh,
Do they brand new?
wow.
Okay.
How quickly will we get it?
They're soft on that. So probably 6-ish months.
So you have to order it?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question in the meantime. I'm not trying to get away from the vote, but so in the meantime, if we sold the van, what do they have to drive?
So right now, if it is just them and small items, they will invoice mileage in their personal vehicles. If they need a truck, they'll use a fleet vehicle.
So if they need to go downtown for a Parks Rec meeting, they get reimbursed for that?
Correct.
Okay.
They'd be reimbursed for mileage.
Okay.
They
good.
will be?
Yes.
Or have they been?
Everything they have submitted has been reimbursed.
I move to approve.
I second that motion.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next on our item or agenda tonight is the July Freedom Festival budget, one of our favorite things in Collegedale. Talk to us about that, Mr. City Manager.
This is a request to spend up to $25,000 for marketing, production crew, AV, talent, kids rides, et cetera, for the Freedom Festival. This is the same budget we've had for multiple years.
Maybe 3 years at that.
At least the two that I've been city manager, and at least one, if not two, before. So we've held the line on it.
And did I hear fireworks included in that?
Fireworks is not included in that.
That's different. Okay.
Correct. We do expect it will be a little higher than before. I think last year it had gone up to 32 or 37, and we'll be opening and presenting that bid on March the 6th.
What is this $25,000 going towards specifically? Just marketing?
Marketing, AV, talent, ICE, advertisements, the children's entertainment, the little rides and all that we had last year, those sorts of things.
Is this budget reflective of when we went to using that company to do it instead of city staff?
Yes. When we rolled, we budgeted 25,000 before I was city manager, and then we went with Chattanooga Market for 25,000, then Touch the Sky for 25,000. And then this year, since both of those have fallen out of usage, we're working with Friends of the Festival that puts on River Bend. Same budget.
Is there any interest from our Parks and Rec department to take this over and head it up as a big annual event of their own?
No. We don't have the contacts for sound engineers and AV folks and a broad network of contacts for bands and multiple food trucks and that sort of thing. The logistics of it is more than they have room on their plate to handle.
Wouldn't it, too, I'm thinking it'd be more cost effective to go with this company instead of doing it.
The money is about the same, but what we get in terms of quality of bands, quality of food trucks, et cetera, is better. You know, they put on a lot of events, so they work with the food trucks as an example multiple times. So they know better who shows up on time, who has food, who can get you a plate within 5 minutes versus
Yeah.
35 minutes. So the money should be the same. The product should be better.
Okay.
Last year was the entire budget used of this 25,000 used, or was it?
Yes.
Did we come in under?
We came in at 24.9
I think
or something, right under. I would expect the same this year.
If not, because I know the cost of things have gone up. I make a motion that we accept this, but I'm wondering if we might need to have a little leadway in case costs of certain items go up in the food products. I mean, I know the trucks furnish their own things, but if something goes up in price for,
If that was to occur, I'd prefer to come back and ask for it.
okay,
I'd like to try to hold the line and hold the budget solid. From talking to Friends of the Festival, they're comfortable that we can hit this
do it.
number.
Yeah.
And so if something comes up along those lines, I'd rather just come back and ask.
okay.
I think I only have one more question.
Okay.
Are they still doing Riverbend, or is someone else doing Riverbend? Will they be, what I'm trying to say is, will they be planning both events at the same time?
They will be planning other events at the same time. Which events, Moon River versus Riverbend, I can't speak to. Our main point of contact is Nadine. I cannot pronounce her last name, unfortunately, so I don't want to butcher it. She's actually a Southern student that graduated several years ago. And the advantage being is those festivals are so different than ours that we're not competing for the same talent and that sort of thing.
And they do an excellent job. They've got a great staff. They're well versed in handling events and setting up for large crowds. So,
They're a professional organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with them.
They've done a good job in the past, so it's good that we still have them.
so do we have a motion for approval, or is there any further discussion?
I'll make a second.
Okay, we have a motion.
Do we have it first?
Do we have a first motion?
Yes, Commissioner
Commissioner
Baker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Baker did.
Okay.
That's what I thought she did. And I
Okay.
I want to make
seconded it.
sure.
Okay. Commissioner Baker makes the motion. We have a second. Thank you, Commissioner Lamb. And roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next we have requests for reports from city administration, commissioners. Anyone, we'll turn it over to city administration first.
The first is the community poll for the Freedom Festival came back for Monday, the 3rd. And so that's the date we're planning at this point. That was what the community overwhelmingly wanted. Like I told you earlier, the fireworks bid will come to you March the 6th. We'll have several bids that evening, actually. As a reminder, no March workshop. And I would like to request that if there are requests for information or FOIAs, if they would come to me first and let me disperse them amongst city staff instead of going directly to staff, it'd be more in keeping with TCA and it'd be more appropriate.
We're supposed to have a designated person to respond to those.
Right.
Can we put that on the workshop? Because I believe we also need to add some things to our website that are best practices.
Will you send me what those are?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any other city administration, anything they need to talk about? Mr. Byford, I understand good news is happening at the airport.
So we did finally receive the frequency approval that will allow pilots to use the weather station, the broadcast on its own discrete frequency. That was 6+ months in the wait, so we did finally get that. Following that, I did order the antenna that will be utilized to broadcast on that frequency. They gave me 3 to 4 week lead time on that, so anticipating the end of the month, hopefully to have that completed. We're working on a grant with the state right now. Should have that submitted within the next 2 weeks, but we are definitely making forward momentum with many of our projects that are much needed.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And you have someone that's writing that grant, right?
So I gave that to her Friday evening to kind of come over, and I'm just waiting on a response.
Okay, good, good. Well, you're doing a great job. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other issues from the commission that we need to address or talk about?
I believe Eric, I noticed there's some, I think, trees or weeds or something growing out of the top of the transfer station. Have y'all been back there to look at that?
I've reached out to 4 different gutter companies, and they've all told me they don't work on that kind of style guttering, so I'm trying to find a company that does do the box style guttering.
Okay.
I have a question for Eric, and this may not even be us, but it's in within our code. I just noticed today, more so coming down the highway, coming from the exit, Burger King exit, the sign right before there, that's the Southern Adventist sign, you can barely read it, it's so faded out and worn. Is that our responsibility, or is that someone else?
I reached out to TDOT maintenance about that about 2 weeks ago, and they haven't got back to me yet, so I'll reach back out to them and see what their decision is on that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I spoke with Ben Carden, Norfolk Southern Railway, over the weekend, and we obviously have all of the rail cars and locomotives gone. Very thankful for that. They promised us the end of the month, and they delivered ahead of schedule. So very thankful for that. Good working relationship with them. They do have a lot of site cleanup left to do, and I'll touch base with him again on that. But it's been so muddy, I don't think they've even been able to get any equipment in to begin that work. So we're slowly but surely getting there, and I'll keep you advised on how the conversations are going there. But they were very clear, at some point when they finish their work, we can make remedial steps and send them a bill for that work.
And we're preparing the bid specs for the repairs.
Okay, excellent.
Also, the engines are still sitting right down by Servpro off Watkins Street.
Oh, are they? Okay, I knew they were gone, but didn't know where they were
They
going.
parked them there till they can get them all the way downtown.
Okay, well, glad they're not here.
It's dollars that they think about.
Yeah. And want to thank the police department for doing a great job in keeping all the pedestrians safe in the midst of people climbing on locomotives and rail cars, and what a mess. But thank you all for a job well done. Other business from the commission, anything we need to talk about?
One thing, Eric, thank you for looking at those lights. Let's see about getting those replaced on the bridge over the creek. Definitely appreciate that. I didn't realize that was EPB that replaced those, but appreciate you taking care of that. In follow up to the open request, I've seen Tanya's made quite a few requests, but I know other people are making requests as well. So I'd like for us to develop a tracker for 3 months so we can see how many FOIA requests are coming into the city, who's submitting them, what are they pulling, and then I'd like to know the time it takes for our city employees to be able to track that and do the work. Because it takes time to go out and redact information off the documents as well. So since those are all going to start coming to you, I'd like to see if you're okay with.
We can put together a spreadsheet and track it.
Because I really never thought about, how many we might receive or not receive. So if we could do it, do we need to vote on that?
Well, I want to talk about that as well. I've been in private business for I've worked for private companies for 37 years in the business world. In 37 years, I've always worked with cost centers. So that if I ask a particular department for information or help or whatever, I'm billed. My cost center is billed for that work. And as I understand it, the commissioners don't have cost centers. Is that correct?
No, the city has the ability to charge if the amount of time exceeds, I think, an hour.
An hour.
We have historically not done that, especially for, I don't think we've ever charged a commissioner. But it would not be, we can absolutely track the costs and see where they come out in a few months, 6 months, and then have a discussion on billing and that sort of thing.
My only concern is the reason I bring that up, because everybody's got enough to do as it is, and I'm not trying to say we shouldn't have that. Of course, it's state law, but
Absolutely need.
I'd like to see if it's well used from that perspective.
Mhm.
We may need to look at hiring a full-time person at least to cover the cost to do this.
I would like to at least put the numbers together first.
Yeah, I don't know how
Down
big it
another
is, or it's
employee.
really small, so.
I'd
Well-
like to add that this might not be the best time of year to study that, considering we're preparing for the budget. And as a responsible commissioner, I want to look at some things so I know what questions to ask. And just since this is coming up, I've made one FOIA request since I was sworn in. And I made that FOIA request because I asked for something 3 times and I was told I was not going to get it. So that's why I did a FOIA, just to get that out there.
Well, in the past, we have, as commissioners, have been able to get information before the budget in an aggregate form, rather than having to go through every little piece of information that may have to be redacted and so forth. And I'm just wondering why we need to do each little sheet, rather than just saying, whatever the item was, and then the number of times that we lost an employee or we had to hire some people to take his place, so that we don't have to go through all that paperwork.
Well,
We
and
were-
I apologize that y'all were copied on everything, even after one of you requested not to be copied on everything. I don't know if that's something we want to discuss going forward, but I don't intend to make y'all look at things I'm asking for, but I'm not going to phone it in. I want to look at data. I want to feel like I'm doing the best I can.
Well, and I don't have any problem at all with that. I mean, you're certainly within your purview to ask for accountability, and we're all accountable. But at the same time, our city employees are spending a lot of time pulling reports together, and I want to know how much time is involved. I think I would make a motion that we establish cost centers if it involves a motion, because,
I would ask that, allow us to track it.
okay,
6 months. We'll put together a spreadsheet for every request, citizen A, commissioners, et cetera. And then we can have that conversation at a workshop with hard numbers in front of us, and then decide if there's further action that needs to be taken.
well, we need to know what your time
Mhm.
is costing.
Mhm.
We need to know what materials.
Right.
Because printer cartridges and paper aren't free. So we collectively want to do a good job,
Mhm.
but you're not our employees. We're on the same team. All 5 of us, all the city employees, we're on the same team. We collectively work for the citizens of Collegedale.
Mhm.
And I think the citizens of Collegedale need to know what this is costing them,
Okay.
because they're the ones paying for your time,
Mhm.
printer cartridges, paper, whatever.
Yep.
And I think to
you-
provide honest accountability, we need to let them know what this is costing.
Can you also add that if these are presented in PDF versus printed, because I've not requested anything be printed, period.
Absolutely. I mean, there would not be a paper cost for a PDF. It would just be time. If someone needed a paper copy for a reason, there would be that cost. We can put all that together and present it once we have hard numbers to have a conversation on. And at that point, we know the magnitude of time and the cost.
We could also, the comptroller's office is very friendly with coming to do workshops on what the city is responsible to do and best practices. Maybe we could invite them to a workshop sometime.
What would they be discussing?
It's the Office of Open Records Counsel.
I understand that. What are you asking that they present on?
They give you training on the best way for the city to handle open records requests and what we should have on our website for best practices and what we need to give, what we have to redact, which is not a whole lot, other details.
Yeah, and they have a lot of best practices. There's a lot of things that you don't have to do, but you can choose to do, et cetera. But I'm still, will you include what practices in that email you would like to have presented by the comptroller?
We can talk later.
Okay.
And my question to Commissioner Sadler, is there anything you're looking for? I know you've asked for a lot of reports. Is there anything specific that you're looking for?
Well, the most recent one that you received today, after I did the FOIA, was mileage and fuel reports. And I'm specifically looking to see if maybe we should look to hire an extra auto technician for our city. I can't think of, probably, I wasn't here when they hired another one, and I think our fleet has probably doubled in size. When you look at what's going on with the cars, you can think of, okay, how can the city, what can we do for the city?
Well, I
I'm
mean,
on-
that gas won't show how much maintenance they did on the cars, right?
Well, it'll show me if a car's being used or not.
But I think too, we have certain people in leadership there, like Eric with Public Works and of course our police and so forth. They bring us, not just saying they bring facts to us to look at and to review, because we trust them. They know what they're doing. Just like you were saying, I'm not a police officer, so I listen to see what they need. I've gone out and investigated to see what they need. I used to ride with them till my knees went bad because I can't hardly get out of the car, so I don't want to put your life in jeopardy. And I trust their judgment until they show me that they can't be trusted. We put leaders in positions, and of course, we have Wayne, which as a commission, that's our job. We hire the city manager. The city manager runs and operates and hires the people. And he does bring them before us just to introduce us and tell us their credentials and everything that runs the city. It's not my job to run the city. My job is to represent the people and do legislative. Yes, we do a check on Wayne. We meet with him to see and question things about the city and things that we need to address for our citizens, because like we work for you. I think that we have to have some trust here. We have to have some, and I understand what you're saying. You know, there is accountability. We're all accountable, but I don't want to use their time unwisely. I don't want to pull up your time when it could be best used elsewhere
For
for the city.
the auto technician question, Eric and I have already had a couple of conversations about the need and have another meeting scheduled this week to talk about the best way to move forward as part of this year's budgeting process. So those
And
conversations
think-
are.
I think that's what the commissioners need to do, is have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it is legal for her to request information, of course, but I mean, if I have a question, I think I asked about the Durangos. And I think Eric, one of your mechanics, talked to me about that they were still operating good, and, you know, I'm still a Ford man, so, but, you know, I let it go at that. I think you were a part of that at one point, so I just come to you. That's,
I know that they don't do things half-heartedly. They really do the research, and because I do a lot behind the scene. Okay?
Oh, and I was attempted to, but then every email I send gets replied all to every commissioner
Well,
and half the staff.
But the thing is when we do behind, like, I'm very open. Like, we meet together in the open because we don't want to do the sunshine law deal. But it's so that we work together as a team.
And
So I can understand where you come and you have every right, but there has to come when you speak together, like if we, like the vice mayor was saying, if we met together, like we have done in the past, in workshops and things, and say, here, this is what we got going, and let's just duke it out. Say, okay, tell me what it is, and show me the facts and everything. I did the same thing when they brought concerning the Durangos. I went and researched it myself. I called cities and everything else because I wanted to find out facts that I could compare with them so that when I came to them, I could make a sound judgment. But in the end, it is the city manager and looking at with the police department and everything, who they felt was the position. It's not, I can say it, but it's their job to decide which one they want. Legally, they can do that.
And the thought process with sharing it with all the commissioners is that if it was information that's needed, then they all need it.
They all need it, yeah.
And so it was trying to share all the information with everyone to make these decisions.
And see, I think if you had gone to Eric or whoever for the information, they would have been very open with you because they've been open. with
Eric
us.
has been very open with me.
Yeah, or even with looking for the research that you're looking for, it would have been open for everyone. I think there just has to be a level of trust. And
I
working-
wasn't elected to have blind trust. I was elected by people that told me they want me to ask questions and be a representative of them, and that's
And
what
I
I'm gonna do.
Well,
And
I
along those lines,
understand that.
please, let me just finish and
Yeah.
I'm probably done for the night. Along those lines, you've asked to sit down with us individually this month to discuss if we want to be pro-tax increase this year or wait. I don't need a sit-down meeting. I want to do everything in the open, like everyone else is just suggesting. So I'll go on record right now that I do not support a property tax increase this year.
Well, I'll be honest with you, we don't like property tax. I've been out here 20 years, and in 20 years, we've had it increased twice. And some of that was due because we hadn't increased. I prefer to do it a smaller amount at a time if it has to be done than a lump sum at a time to make up for the difference, because we do have expenses that increase. We purposely schedule things, and we've been very good, the city has, not having to add added burden of paying finances and taxes on people, okay? Because number one, I'm one of those citizens that has to pay too, and I live on a fixed income, so I know what it's like. So I'm very careful about the people that are in our city. And I have for the last 3 terms that I've worked, and even this one that I'm in now, work for the citizens of our city and back them. But also look majority rules. I look what is feasible, who's going to pay for it. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of ways we can go about getting money, grants and things like that. I push for that. But what I'm saying is we're supposed to work as a team for the city. And that's what we're here for, Tanya.
So I think we lost sight of the FOIA request. So
I'm sorry.
if you could put that together for us.
We will track it and present the information.
well, and you're exactly right, Commissioner Baker. We've got to work together as a team. Commissioner Sadler, you're certainly within your purview to ask for any report you want to ask for, but why can we not as a commission talk about it? I mean, why, in a workshop, why can you not say, well, I'd like to find out about A, B, and C?
What are you going to tell me that I have to ask for information? You can't provide me specific data that I'm looking for.
Well,
And a workshop is once a month. We're running out of time. We're working on a budget right now.
so what are you looking for? I'm just wondering, you've obviously had a lot of requests in, with the city employees. Is there anything you're looking for? I mean, because I found these people to be incredibly forthright.
I believe I already replied to the commission what I was looking for on that request. And you
Okay.
responded.
Okay. I'm just wondering, are there additional requests that you feel like we need to talk about? Because we need to get on the same page.
Is there something you're concerned about?
I'm just asking what additional information you're looking for.
I didn't bring a list because I wasn't expecting to be bombarded tonight with being a responsible commissioner and trying to do
I'm just
a
saying.
well-rounded
We need,
job.
we need to talk. I've got no problem you doing a well-rounded job. We all want to do that.
I talk at every meeting and we can't talk outside of a meeting. So
Well, my point is, if you want to make a request, why can we as a commission not talk about it? Because
so I have to
you're
ask the
upset that.
commission's permission to make a request?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is you're upset that they replied all. Why would you be upset about that?
Did I say I'm upset? I apologize to Vice Mayor Johnson because he requested not to be included in the reply alls. And then they
Yeah,
continued
I
to
just
reply
feel like
all.
I didn't need to know what people's salary was at the year end or whatever that request was. So that's the only reason I said that. you know. But being what it is, I mean, I think that it would be good for any of us, if you have questions about details, sit down and talk to the city manager. That's who we need to go to. And I know people go to Eric and ask questions, which is nothing wrong, or Chief Sapp asked questions, nothing wrong. But I think that when it gets to citizens' tax dollars, I've got some concern how much we're doing it is the reason I made that request. So that's all I have to say.
Well, I think you all are very forthright. I mean, there's nothing hidden. There are no secret agendas. I think we're all very public. I just think we as a commission need to communicate. We need to talk with each other and know what's going on.
I have a question for Sam, our attorney. With this information and documents that we've been receiving, how long of a time do we need to keep those? Or can I delete them from my computer whenever I want to?
I think if they are already city records and you're just being copied on them pursuant to those requests, you don't need to keep them.
Okay, thank you.
Even the exit or why somebody left the city or,
Well, again, they're already city records.
Okay.
Now, technically, if that is emailed to you as an attachment, that could be a record itself, especially if there's explanatory text or something of that nature, because that email might be because it's coming to you officially as a member of the city commission. So it gets complicated. And as Commissioner Sadler says, there are best practices that the comptroller set forward. Basically, the legislature required us to adopt a policy on public records that was formulated by MTAS 8 or 10 years ago. And that's what our policy is on records. So in one sense, that's a statutorily mandated best practice. But that wouldn't be a bad thing to check. And the comptrollers, the Open Record Council's website might have some guidance on what you're particularly asking.
Okay,
But if you're just getting an email that's got attachments on it without any sort of commentary, I mean, that's already a city record.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other business? Any other further discussion? Okay,
I move we adjourn.
okay.
I'll second that.
And let's have a roll call for adjournment.
Commissioner Baker?
Yay.
Commissioner Lamb?
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler?
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd?
Yay, we are adjourned.
Hello.